Oh, you were ignored, huh?
What a surprise. I bet it hurts more than stepping on bare Lego, and your ego is lying there, scattered across the floor like broken glass. Every second without a response is a sadistic reminder that, who knows, you might not be as interesting as you imagined in the mirror. But relax. Today you're going to learn how to turn the game around, not to be superior, but to walk away with your head held high, and as a bonus, leave her wondering what the hell she lost. Spoiler, probably nothing. Let's face the facts. Nobody likes being ignored. It's like getting slapped in the face, only without the drama of the noise. A sharp reminder that you're not exactly a priority. How tragic. But calm down. The good news is that this isn't the end of the world, even though your self-esteem is screaming otherwise. Even better, this cold shoulder might be the perfect chance for you to bounce back, change the rules of the game, and hopefully laugh at the situation in the end. In this video, I'm going to break down the best psychological tactics to deal with this show of disdain. We'll talk about how to return silence with class, how to awaken the curiosity of someone who thinks they're unattainable, and above all, how to reinforce your ego without needing an expensive psychologist. Oh, and of course, with a good dose of irony, because taking things too seriously is for those who love losing that kind of war. But before we start, let's dig a little deeper into that feeling of being ignored. Why does it hurt so much? Spoiler, because you think you deserve more. So, before absorbing these genius strategies, do your part. Give a like, subscribe, and write a thank you to the algorithm in the comments, because without that, not even YouTube thinks you're worth it. And let's be honest, you can't rely solely on others' pity. Now, without beating around the bush, let's get to the point. Oh, here we go. Being ignored messes with us in such an annoying way that sometimes it's even hard to put into words. You send that message, all confident, thinking the reply will come in minutes. But surprise, nothing. Days pass. The notification you swore would come doesn't show up, and the feeling. It's like shouting into the universe, waiting for an echo, but only getting the sound of your own failure. Why does this hurt so much? Let's dissect this tragedy. First, let's be realistic. Being ignored is a well-given kick in the ego. And the ego, my friends, is more fragile than cheap porcelain. Sure, you can pretend you don't care. Oh, who cares? But inside you're screaming, what did I do wrong? Am I not interesting? Is she talking to someone better? A cruel spoiler, maybe she is. But guess what? The real problem here isn't her. It's what all this nonsense is doing to you. Before we play the strategist, it's good to remember, people ignore for a variety of reasons, and not all involve you. Sometimes she's genuinely busy. Unlikely, but okay. Other times, she just doesn't have the courage to tell you she's not interested. Or, in the worst case scenario, she's enjoying the power game because those who ignore usually love having control over the situation. Yes, it's unbearable, I know. But let's be honest, the biggest problem here isn't her silence. It's what this emptiness triggers in you. It's that echo in your pride, shouting that you lost control and making you question even what you ate for breakfast. Worse still, it pushes you towards desperate actions, endless text messages, sequential messages, or that typical chase after someone who clearly doesn't care. A disaster. And that's where the trick comes in. Don't react like an amateur. Reacting impulsively only feeds her game and rubs your pride on the ground. What you need is to reverse the script, turn the board, and play better. And for that, we're going to explore some sharp psychological tactics that not only balance things out but put you in control. Ready? Let's go to the first strategy. Listen up, emotional doormat. Are you tired of being her ego boost? The one who accepts crumbs and still smiles like he just won the Powerball? Well, enough of this nonsense. Today is the day you hang up the official doormat badge and decide you're no longer going to be kicked around like an old shoe. Check it out. There's a digital book waiting for you in the description. And it's not just any junk. It's designed to teach you how to become a challenge, break free from that I'm too nice vibe, and finally put any woman in her place when she crosses the line. No pity, no beating around the bush, and most importantly, no more whining in the corners. This book is the death certificate for the guy who bowed his head to everything, and the birth certificate for the dude who, if she doesn't respect him, simply doesn't care. Plain and simple. Now that you understand that being ignored is a cruel test for the ego, and that reacting without thinking only worsens the situation, it's time to turn the game around. Here are the psychological weapons you need to deal with this silence, while maintaining at least the illusion of dignity. The goal here isn't to destroy her ego, as tempting as that may seem, but to show that while she's playing, you're commanding the show. Even if inside your heart is crumbling like a cookie. Let's go! The first tactic is the most powerful and, ironically, the most complicated for those who love playing the needy. The deadly silence. Exactly, shut up. No messages, no liking her photos, and for the love of anything sacred or profane, no indirect hints. Why? Because emptiness is the cruelest weapon that exists. It plants that poisonous doubt. Did he lose interest in me? Oh, the drama. First step, keep yourself busy, or at least pretend to be busy, since your schedule is probably emptier than your message inbox. Post random photos living your best life. It doesn't matter if you just went to the bakery to buy bread. A well-framed selfie with the right caption can work miracles. Go out with friends or pretend you went out, no one will check. The secret is to seem like your life is going wonderfully well without her presence. The key, look natural. If you start posting 15 stories a day, it will seem more desperate than inspiring. Silence, my dear, is a curiosity generator. It makes the other person think, what is he doing? Or hopefully, is he better off without me? But pay attention. This strategy only works if you have self-control. No breaking the silence with that generic high that screams neediness. Here, control is the name of the game. If absolute silence isn't enough to pique her curiosity, it's time for a more provocative approach. The idea is to leave her intrigued without seeming like you're begging for attention. How to do that? With that classic trick, vague and enigmatic information. Post something on social media that's intentionally mysterious, like, I can't believe what happened today. Or sometimes life surprises us. Nothing more. Just leave the gaps for her to fill in with the fertile imagination everyone has when they think they might be missing something. This technique is effective because the brain hates mysteries. The less information you give, the more the other person feels the need to discover what's going on. And if she was already ignoring you just for sport, congratulations. Now she'll start stalking you discreetly. But for the love of controlled drama, take it easy. If you start exaggerating, like posting 30 self-help quotes in a row or photos with strangers just to seem interesting, you'll appear childish and desperate. And here comes the icing on the cake. Fake indifference. You know that I don't care attitude that everyone loves to hate? That's what you need to embody. Pretend that her silence doesn't affect you one bit, even if, in reality, you're marking on the calendar how many days have passed since the last ignored message. The goal here is simple. Appear unattainable. Nothing makes people more obsessed than someone who acts like they don't need them. Ready for this practical psychology lesson? Good luck appearing the master of detachment while crying inside. First, take a deep breath and accept it. You're not going to send that desperate message. Yes, hold those nervous fingers and throw the phone to the bottom of a drawer, if necessary. Instead, focus on the art of strategic feigning. Post about simple things you're doing. A trip to the park becomes nothing like renewing my energy on Instagram. A coffee with the neighbor can turn into good conversations always make the day better. The idea is to seem busy and, above all, fulfilled. And if you want to add a dramatic touch, blocking or silencing for 24 hours is valid. But for the love of strategy, don't turn this into a theatrical show. Fake indifference has a curious power. It awakens insecurity in the other person. Does he really not care anymore? Oh, nothing like planting doubts in someone else's head. This can make her want to win back your attention because, after all, humanity is driven by things she can't have. But beware, prince or princess of manipulation. Too much arrogance can turn you from mysterious to unbearable. And there, my dear, the shot will backfire. If all this still doesn't work and her silence continues to echo, it's time to step up a notch on the provocation scale. Yes, let's talk about the good old indirect hints on social media, but a well-done indirect hint without falling into amateurism. Here's the recipe. Choose something that seems generic and philosophical, but is an emotional razor for whoever reads it. Something like, "Funny how some people only realize what they lost too late." Don't use names, don't mention dates, and for the love of drama, never give details. The goal is for her to read and think, "Is this about me?" If you can achieve that, congratulations. The seed of doubt has been planted. These indirect hints work because they create internal conflict. If she's ignoring you for the game, this can make the game turn against her. But if she's simply not interested, reality hurts, right? Relax. At least you walked away with style and gave her something to chew on while she thinks about the questionable choices she made. Now, a final warning. These tactics are tools, not weapons of mass destruction. Use them sparingly and wisely. If you exaggerate, you'll only seem desperate, and the result will be a big congratulations for pushing her even further away. Want to know the classic mistakes that ruin any attempt to regain control? Impulsive messages, forced posts, and excessive drama. It's what turns a strategist into a participant of a cheap reality show. And there, let's be honest, not even Instagram's algorithm can save you. Mistakes you shouldn't make. Mistake 1, sending desperate texts. The famous 500-word rant. You think you're going to move her, that she'll read and think, "Wow, how unfair I was, he's so sensitive." Reality? She barely finishes the first line before rolling her eyes and filing you under "never again." Long texts scream desperation, beg for attention, and make it clear you've given her the emotional control throne of your life. Nothing turns off interest more than appearing a needy human being begging for approval. Golden rule: if a short message didn't work, a whole speech will just be a waste of bytes. Control the urge to explain your feelings. Not only is it useless, but it also puts you in the pathetic position of trying to justify her silence. Remember, those who need to explain too much have already lost half the battle. Mistake 2, stalking and liking old photos. You enter her profile, all Sherlock Holmes, thinking no one will notice. But oops, your finger slips, and there you go, liking a 2017 photo where she has flat iron and a horrible filter. Result? She receives the notification and thinks, "Is this guy living in my past?" Congratulations, you've just promoted yourself to the creepy level of obsessed. Want to stalk? Fine, Instagram is there for that. But be a real spy. Observe, study, but never ever interact. No likes, no comments, nothing that makes her realize you're wasting your precious time on that. Remember, the goal is to seem confident and unshakable, not someone who spends the night analyzing her stories like an FBI case. Mistake 3, using intermediaries. The classic amateur detective. You decide to call on mutual friends to probe the situation and find out why she's ignoring you. Brilliant idea, right? Wrong. It just screams I'm insecure and unable to solve my own problems. Besides being a certificate of lack of courage, the chance of this turning into gossip and reaching her in a disastrous way is 99.9%. And you know what her reaction will be?
Ugh, did he really do that?
Be an adult. Take control. If she doesn't want to talk to you directly, swallow that silence with dignity. Delegating your frustration to third parties only puts you in the position of an emotional teenager who needs a babysitter. Worse than that, only if you hire a billboard. Mistake 4, responding to silence with anger. You decide to send that message full of indignation. "Why are you ignoring me?" In your head, it sounds firm, resolute, demanding explanations. In reality, a spectacle of neediness seasoned with a touch of spiciness. You know what she'll do? Laugh, maybe take a screenshot to show her friends, and ignore you even more. Congratulations, you've just turned your rant into an emotional victory for her. Here's the secret: control yourself. Exploding in anger only reinforces that she has enormous control over your emotions. And do you know the most effective response to her silence? Your silence. Indifference hurts more than any scream. If you need to express something, do it with neutrality, or better yet, say absolutely nothing. Because nothing is more intriguing and annoying than someone who doesn't react. Avoiding these mistakes is as crucial as applying the right tactics. You're not here to beg, nor to play the emotional vigilante. The goal is simple: show that you're mature, in control, and know how to value yourself, even if, inside, you're still patching up your ego. In the next step, We'll tie it all together because, in the end, what really matters is you're dealing with this for yourself, not for her. We've reached the end of this journey on how to stop playing the fool when you're ignored. Now let's recap. The worst nonsense you can do is act impulsively. No dramatic texts, no likes on 2014 photos, or sending friends to ask, why did she disappear? Instead, apply strategic silence, provoke curiosity, and use indifference as your sharpest weapon. Because, my friend, those who seem not to care always have the advantage. But do you want to know the most important thing? It's not about her, her game, or her inflated ego. It's about you. It's about how you handle such situations and what it reflects about the respect you have for yourself. In the end, the greatest victory might not even be making her regret. The true achievement is proving to yourself that your self-esteem isn't a toy in the hands of someone who doesn't know how to value it. So, follow the tips, but never forget. The best way to destroy someone's ego is not to give them even an inch of space to know that they shook you. And if none of this works, big deal. The planet has billions of people, and one of them will find you incredible. If it's not that one, tough luck for her. Life goes on. Did you like the content? Then give that like, send it to a friend who's getting an Olympic-level cold shoulder, and share your best stories of being ignored in the comments. Because laughing at our own stumbles makes everything lighter and much less pathetic. Until the next video.